Science Forum, and it's a fantastic gathering of all these great minds that have come together to talk about science and technology and the developments thereof. And there's so many interesting topics that are going to be discussed here in the panels and the forums and the speakers that have gathered. It's not only local representation that's here. You find a lot of international companies and also government represented in this particular forum, which is quite nice. It's just a great sharing opportunity for countries to come together and see best practice. Well, as you know, there a lot of controversy around the R3,500 minimum wage that came about and was announced by our Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa. And many people not necessarily for it, but again, a lot of people not, quite happy with the way things are working. And there's a country here that has implemented this minimum wage. It was New Zealand. This was back in 2013. To talk a little bit more about this and its impact on the country, and also perhaps some lessons that we as South Africa can learn from that, is Professor Stuart Carr. He's from Massey University. It's good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live and to South Africa.
Tumela, kia ora. Great to be here, and it's a huge honour. It's a wonderful meeting. Very important topics being considered, and we're very honoured to be here. Our team at University of Technology and University of Cape Town, and ARA establishment in New Zealand, and Massey University.
Fantastic. Well, one of the big things is this minimum wage that was announced by our Deputy President. Now, in New Zealand, again, also a very controversial subject. This comparative study between New Zealand and South Africa. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, the minimum wage in New Zealand is $14 an hour or so officially. That's the legal minimum wage, but the living wage figures around about $20 an hour, so there's a gap there. And for many people, minimum wages are failing, and living wages are an idea that you can bring people up to a decent quality of life and standard of work-life quality through an increased wage and hourly rate, for example, in New Zealand. And we're collaborating with our team here in South Africa, because in the debate about living wages, there's on the one hand you have people saying, well, if we raise them, we'll send too many companies to the wall. And on the other hand, you have people saying, no, people need to have a decent quality of life. And our idea is that somewhere in the middle might be the truth, if you like. Yeah. And we're working collaboratively to measure people's actual wages and then asking them what is their quality of life and their quality of work life, and looking at the links between those. And what we're expecting to see perhaps is that at some point a wage ticks upwards. In other words, capabilities tick upwards quite significantly because people are finally making the ends meet. And that's social science, I think, filling the gaps through partnership to try and find out the real link between wages and quality of life and quality of work life, and hence eradication of poverty.
You see, that's a big thing. And when we talk about the focus of social sciences at this year's particular forum, I think this is exactly what the Minister was referring to as well. The whole idea, however, with this minimum wage is the problem of combating prejudice and discrimination in the workplace. And I think that that's what a lot of people are very, very worried about. How have you gone about that in New Zealand?
Prejudice and discrimination is often connected with migration in one form or another. And you have people moving around the world to find slightly higher wages than the wages that they're getting. And that is not really a problem that research teams such as ours can address. That's a problem for governments to address, because you need to fix standards not only nationally, which South Africa is working hard to do, and so is New Zealand, but you need to fix them internationally. For example, through cooperation such as SADC, so that there is a standard, a minimum standard that all workers get. And so you wouldn't have people coming here working for zero wages and possibly taking jobs away from South African people, and both those people are in need, so they need access to decent work. So yeah, it does have a link, but it's the responsibility of governments and organisations like SADC, I think, to fix the standards.
One of the things also that I find very interesting that you discuss, and I'm going to let you go after this because I know everybody's starting to move inside, but just in terms of South Africa as a country, we really are steeped in poverty, we're steeped in inequality. One thing that you've pointed out is that these elements are the significant barriers to human development, and that's what we're lagging a lot behind in this country.
We know that inequality is not good for anybody. We know that your country's had rising inequality, so has New Zealand. So we know that inequality has to be addressed, and one way to do that is through decent wages and decent livelihoods, and living wages may be a key part of that solution, I think.
Prof, thanks for talking to us. It's been a pleasure having you here on the program, just talking to us about these findings. I mean, I know it's been a rather controversial topic, but as the Prof was saying, in New Zealand, there's no different because it is also very controversial there, and it's been in place since 2013, trying to help the lives of those that are now benefiting from this minimum wage. Well, let's talk a little further now. We've got the Director General of the Department of Science and Technology with us, Dr. Phil Mtwara, who's here to talk a little bit about government's 9-point plan in the department. So good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne, and morning to the viewers. Thanks for the opportunity.
Let's talk about, and I want to carry this forward, the conversation of the minimum wage. How does the debate on a minimum wage impact your work at all?
Well, maybe not directly as a Department of Science and Technology, but as you know, within government, the department is one of the co-chairs of the Economic Sectors and Employment and Infrastructure Development Cluster. And in that work, we were supposed to look at areas that will accelerate economic growth in South Africa. And one of the areas of the enablers in the 9-point plan is how to moderate challenges in the workplace. This is led by the Department of Labour, and therefore this announcement of the minimum wage is part of the 9-point plan, and what we're trying to do to make sure that things like strikes are managed, and of course the minimum wage is part of that. But from the DST, and as this forum this year is looking at how we can really get more human science and social sciences, we are delighted that this experience of New Zealand is going to be part of the discussion here at the forum. Which
is very vitally important, and as we heard the professor saying a little bit earlier, when you've got such high levels of poverty and inequality, it's human development that is a problem. Now, at the Department of Science and Technology, knowledge economy is one of the top aspects that you want to enhance the lives of South Africa. How does the Department of Science and Technology assist in all of this and bettering the lives of South Africa, bringing them out of this, the very low levels of poverty we're seeing?
There are two streams of our work. The first one is that in trying to deal with the challenges of poverty, unemployment, we also have to make sure that we have an economy that is growing. So one part of the departmental work is to make sure that we use science, technology and innovation to improve the performance of the sectors through science and technology. And therefore we've identified activities, for instance, that would enhance agricultural production in South Africa. So we're working with the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries to look at how we can deal with the challenges of climate change and begin to develop crops that will survive in a drought country like South Africa. And then we're also supporting them on something which is called agri-parks, which is part of the 9-point plan. Here we're looking at how we can have innovation in the biotech space for some of the agri-innovation related activities that they want to do. So that's one part of the work. I can continue with other aspects of the 9-point plan in the reindustrialization program led by the DTI. And then the second leg of our work is to use science, technology and innovation for what we call inclusive development. So what we do here is we identify programs that use science and technology in order to improve lives of communities. 3 programs come to mind that the department and the entities are doing. In about 5-7 years ago, we invested in looking at technology for aquaculture. Yes. And one area in particular where we've made a significant breakthrough was the harvesting of in Saldana. Yes. These fishes that grow on the shells, and we have been looking at science and technology to demonstrate that science and technology can help aquaculture. So that's one activity, and now we've handed this program now to the Department of Agriculture to increase it. The second program is the work where we've been looking at moringa and how you can look at the nutritious aspect of moringa and how you can then develop value-added fruits as well as cereal. This program, which was done at the CSIR, has now been taken over, or in partnership with Nestle. You will now find in the shops Nestle Moringa noodles, which come from the work that the Department of Science and Technology and the entities have been doing. So that's how we contribute onto these two aspects of the challenge of unemployment inequality.
It's some great initiatives. Very, very quickly, we're running out of time, but just if you can, talk to us about initiatives for the youth. I mean, I'm seeing so many youngsters around here, and I'm loving it because they're the ones that you want to attract in this industry.
Well, there are two in particular that come to mind. We are funding a mobile laboratory at the Innovation Hub. This is a partnership that we have with some private sector companies where we are teaching them how to do coding and how to develop mobile applications. This program has been very, very successful here in Gauteng, where we employ, I think, about 80 youth that we bring in, and then we teach them how to do the coding and develop mobile applications. You'd remember last year when we had a problem of the xenophobia in the country. One of the apps that were developed to deal with the challenges of xenophobic attack and inform the community about the need for us to make sure that we live in harmony with our foreign nationals came from a mobile application that came here. What we are doing now is we're looking at the possibility of how we can expand this initiative to other provinces. So that's just one example. And then the second one is we have a very, very huge internship program that is targeting youth with graduate degrees, but they have not been employed. I think we're targeting approximately 1,000 young people who are a part of this internship program, and we now are working with Treasury to see how we can expand this program.
Thank you so much, DG. What a pleasure talking to you. Enjoy the forum, and I hope it goes exceptionally well. And have a great festive season. I'm allowed to say that it's December. I know we've still got a lot of days to go through, but it's been a tough year, so we're allowed to do that. Thank you very, very much for joining us here on the program, Phil Mjwana, who is a DG at the department. All right, we're going to take a very quick break, and then after